Welcome to my cyberspace. Welcome to another series on the data analysis techniques that I've been talking about. I'm going to be diving into like major questions that you need to ask as a data expert. Now let's get right into it. So what are the examples of type of questions a data analyst or a data expert or data scientist should ask before starting a new project? Literally, having the right question or asking the right question really save you a lot of headache. So one thing is you want to know is, what does the stakeholder want? Is it just an analysis? Do I need to write a report? Who is this stakeholder? Like, what is their technical expertise? How well are they familiar with the analysis? So you want to know, are they technical audience? Are they the non-technical audience? So if you have an understanding of all of these, you would know the right questions to ask them, because sometimes when you ask questions from stakeholders, you are stressing them out. They probably don't know the details of it, so you want to have a familiarity understanding of who the stakeholder is. In case there's a third party that you're working through with the project, get to have an understanding, okay, who are going to be the stakeholders. So if you have stakeholders of varying level of knowledge and expertise, so you might want to have a blend between what you want to communicate for different stakeholders. Some people just want it short and precise. Yes. So another thing you also want to know is, what's the overarching goal or question? When they ask all these questions, specific questions, you want to do this, what do you want to do with this analysis? Do you want to find out what is happening? Do you want to show something? So having those really like information is going to help you in your direction. So you need to be able to put into words, like for example, to explore the effect of demographic factor or income, to look at the average sales for each product. Look at this data right now. There's so many things that we can see, but we can make an inference that overall we want to look at what's the demographic factors related to income. So this is going to come after you have observed the data for a while. And also, let's say it's like, oh, we want to look at the average sales for each product. So there is always a question. Start with a question. Start with why. There's actually a book titled that. Let's move on to the next. So we also, the next thing we also have is, now if you have the overarching question, you know the goal. The next thing is, can we break this into more specifics? Right? Don't just jump into analysis. Like, what is the most specific question we want to ask? The same data set, we look at it, because every complex project can be broken down into smaller chunks. So you ask, okay, what's the average income for customers? Okay, so what is the sex? Which sex is more likely to earn more? Okay, find the average income by marital status and urbanity. So we are getting more specific. So you start from general and you move on to particular. So does that make sense? So it's more like you have like the whole big picture, then you start to say, how can we break it down into smaller chunks? And I would advise you, if you're just starting out, try not to have more than 2 variables in a question. By the time you have more than 2, it starts to complicate things, or you might need to, be very good at what you do as a data analyst. You also want to skim and scan a data set. First few things, like, don't take all the time looking at data set. Look at data set, skim and scan it. Okay, I get some things there, I see some insights. The variables like that you need to answer the question are there in the data set. What's the average income by age? Like, if they ask that question, you need to ask, is there a data set related to age is there a data related to age in this data set, right? So those are the things you really want to find out when you get your data. Another thing also is there are 2 possibilities, right? So one possibility is that the question is available or you create them yourself. So few possibilities is that the stakeholder has a question, they know what they are looking for, they ask you to go find the answer to it. Another possibility is they're like, oh, we don't know what we want, or you would have to create a question. A good number of times it's always a mixture of both, where you'd have to create a question, and sometimes you would have to, come up with, or they give you a question already. Also, another thing is also that is the data available, or you just have to like go collect the data or stuff like that. So something else is like, also, is the code book available or not? So try to understand that. There's also like, what's the delivery timeline? That's something you should ask after every conversation. Like, that probably might be the last question you want to ask after you have a full picture of like the data. Discuss the delivery timeline. Let the stakeholder know that, or if what the expectation is, if it's attainable or not. And a lot of times most stakeholders are very like lenient when it comes to delivery dates, and also they will tell you if this is at press deadline. So first few things I would say is that, what's the delivery timeline if they did not state that before, and depends on like the way they respond to that question. You would know if it's hard pressed or not. You're like, oh, are you kind of flexible? Is this something you really need, like on a rush or something? You're like, oh, no, you could like take your time. It's best if you know this can be done within 3 or 4 days. You could let the stakeholder know that, oh yeah, probably like maybe a week, because there might be some back and forth that comes with the reporting, which you want to give room for that, so that the stakeholder doesn't you don't overpromise and underdeliver. So that's just something you want to really pay attention to. Question is, how detailed will the report analysis be? Do they want something just skim scan, or they want you to go deep dive into the data? What's the do you want to break down the parts of the project and add estimated time? What's the number of columns or rows? So those are things that can try to help you think of how much of complexity like the analysis is going to take. So if you have more columns, right, not about rows, if you have more columns and you actually use most of all of those columns, then it's going to take longer time. So there might not be much of it time or effort when you have a lot of rows. So at this point you should know what rows and column is. So this is the rows, this is the rows, and this is the column, right? So also avoid giving a definite time if you can, but if you need to, you should. The next thing is, can you explain the topic in your own words? Like, can you explain your concept? Reiterate the project's expectation to the stakeholder. Oh, you said I'm going to do this, right? Is that what you're meaning? Also ask questions where you're not clear. Literally, this is overrated. Ask questions, and let's have a picture of what the analysis will look like. Start to mentally picture before you analyze. What do you think the analysis is going to look like, right? So you want to ask yourself, okay, will it be a table? Will it be a graph? Do they want all of those? Does it sound like something I can do, right? Be sure you could do it before you dive right into it. And even though you don't know how to do it, at least you have an idea and you know where to start from, and you know you need to do more research. Do I need to reach out for help or stuff like that? You also need to have a big picture of what the analysis will look like and what is like the great deal in your analysis process. That's really a lot of stuff. So make sure you know what the process is going to look like. And the next thing is, there's importance of getting things clarified. You don't want to get stuck in the middle of a project and you're like, oh, what is this? How am I going to get this done? You also want to be on the same page with the stakeholder. That's something you want to be. It proves credibility and that you are well experienced as a data expert. There are sometimes you might be asked to sign an NDA, which is non-disclosure agreement, if you are working for like as a freelancer. Some projects require you to sign one, which is also fine. You can even offer to sign one if they are skeptical about like you being trustworthy with the use of their data. And that's pretty much it. So I hope this was a value for time. So the summary of everything that I spoke about is, make sure you ask the right question from the stakeholder before jumping right into the project. Stay tuned to the next video, and thank you. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share this video if you think it was a value for time. Thank you. Ciao.